Did you know that some of the most iconic films from Hollywood's golden age cost a fortune to make? But what made these films so expensive, and were they really worth the price? Welcome to a journey through the glitz, glamour, and sheer extravagance of old Hollywood. Today we're diving into the world of the 20 most expensive films of the Golden Age, a time when studios spared no expense to create cinematic masterpieces. From lavish sets to star-studded casts, these films pushed the boundaries of filmmaking and set new standards for what Hollywood could achieve. Get ready to uncover the stories behind these epic productions and find out if they lived up to their hefty price tags. Number 20. Gone with the Wind, 1939. Produced by David O. Selznick and directed by Victor Fleming, Gone with the Wind is often regarded as one of the greatest films ever made. The film's budget, adjusted for inflation, is estimated to be around $33 million, which was an extraordinary sum at the time. The film's lavish sets, costumes, and groundbreaking special effects, such as the destruction of Atlanta, helped push it to such a high cost. Gone with the Wind went on to become the highest-grossing film of its time and is still beloved by audiences around the world for its sweeping romance, historical drama, and unforgettable performances, particularly from Clark Gable and Vivien Leigh. Number 19. Ben-Hur, 1959. Directed by William Wyler, Ben-Hur remains one of the most ambitious films ever made. The film, set in ancient Rome, was known for its massive scale, including one of the most famous chariot race scenes in cinematic history. The production cost around $15 million, which would be over $100 million today when adjusted for inflation. The film was an unprecedented success, winning 11 Academy Awards and becoming the highest-grossing film of its time. The massive budget covered everything from intricate set designs to elaborate costumes, and its impact on the epic film genre was profound. Number 18. Cleopatra, 1963. Cleopatra, directed by Joseph L. Mankiewicz, was one of the most expensive films ever made during the golden age of Hollywood. The film starred Elizabeth Taylor and Richard Burton, whose off-screen romance only added to the drama surrounding its production. The film's budget was initially set at around $24 million, but ballooned to an astonishing $44 million due to production delays, changing directors, and costly reshoots. Despite its exorbitant budget, Cleopatra failed to recoup its costs in its initial release, but it remains an iconic film for its opulent sets, lavish costumes, and Taylor's legendary performance as the Egyptian queen. Number 17. The Ten Commandments, 1956. Directed by Cecil B. DeMille, The Ten Commandments was a monumental achievement in both scope and spectacle. The film's budget was estimated at $13 million, a massive sum for its time, and it featured an all-star cast led by Charlton Heston, Yul Brynner, and Anne Baxter. The production was known for its grand sets, including the creation of a huge replica of the parting of the Red Sea, and its stunning visuals, which pushed the boundaries of film technology at the time. The film's success at the box office was immense, cementing its place as one of the most famous epic films ever made. Number 16. Around the World in 80 Days, 1956. Based on the famous novel by Jules Verne, Around the World in 80 Days was a grand-scale adventure film directed by Michael Anderson. The film's budget was an astonishing $14 million, an incredible amount for a film of its time. Its lavish production was marked by incredible set designs and the use of exotic locations across the globe. The film starred David Niven and Cantinflas, and was known for its star-studded cameos. The film won the Academy Award for Best Picture and went on to become a commercial success, showcasing how epic adventure films could captivate audiences worldwide. Number 15. King Kong, 1933. Though it may not seem like an expensive film by today's standards, King Kong was a groundbreaking film that set a new standard for visual effects. Produced by Marion C. Cooper and directed by Ernest B. Schoedsack, the film's budget was estimated at over $700,000, which was a significant sum during the Great Depression. The film's innovative use of stop-motion animation, along with its groundbreaking visual effects, made it a monumental achievement in filmmaking. The film's lasting legacy and influence on monster movies and visual effects cannot be overstated, making it one of the Golden Age's most influential films. Number 14. The Greatest Show on Earth, 1952. Directed by Cecil B. DeMille, The Greatest Show on Earth was a circus drama that combined elements of romance, drama, and the thrill of the big top. The film starred Charlton Heston, Betty Hutton, and James Stewart, and had an estimated budget of around $4 million, which was considered lavish at the time. The film's production required extensive set designs, circus equipment, and the hiring of a large number of extras. Though it received mixed reviews, the film was a commercial success and went on to win the Academy Award for Best Picture. Number 13. War and Peace, 1956. Directed by King Vidor, War and Peace was based on the famous novel by Leo Tolstoy and featured an all-star cast including Audrey Hepburn, Henry Fonda, and Mel Ferrer. The film's budget was estimated to be around $10 million, making it one of the most expensive films of its time. The film was known for its stunning battle sequences and lavish sets, including large-scale recreations of historical events like the Battle of Borodino. Despite its massive budget, War and Peace was a commercial failure, but it remains notable for its ambition and epic scope. Number 12. The Big Parade, 1925. Directed by King Vidor, The Big Parade was one of the first films to capture the impact of World War I in a way that resonated deeply with audiences. The film's budget was around $3 million, a huge sum during the 1920s. The film's large-scale battle scenes, coupled with its heartfelt narrative, made it a major success both at the box office and with critics. Its portrayal of the emotional toll of war set it apart from other war films and helped define the war genre in cinema. Number 11. The Birth of a Nation, 1915. While controversial for its racist portrayal of history, The Birth of a Nation, directed by D.W. Griffith, was one of the first films to receive such a massive budget for its time. The film's estimated cost was around $100,000, a huge sum for a film made during the early days of Hollywood. It was the first feature-length film in the United States, and its technical achievements, such as advanced editing techniques and innovative use of narrative structure, set it apart as a cinematic milestone despite the backlash over its content. Number 10. Fantasia, 1940. Disney's Fantasia was a groundbreaking achievement in animation, blending classical music with stunning visual sequences. The film's budget was around $2.5 million, a huge amount for an animated film at the time. The film was an experimental project that used new animation techniques, including the use of stereophonic sound, which was revolutionary for its era. Although Fantasia was initially a commercial failure, it later became one of Disney's most beloved and influential films, influencing the animation industry for decades to come. Number 9. Titanic, 1953. Not to be confused with James Cameron's 1997 blockbuster, Titanic, 1953, was a historical drama directed by John Negulesco. The film's budget was estimated at around $5 million, which was considered very high for the time. The film was a lavish recreation of the ill-fated voyage of the Titanic and featured an ensemble cast including Clifton Webb and Barbara Stanwyck. The movie's opulent sets and attention to historical detail made it stand out in a crowded field of films, and it was praised for its depiction of the disaster. Number 8. A Place in the Sun, 1951. Directed by George Stevens, A Place in the Sun was a romantic drama that starred Montgomery Clift, Elizabeth Taylor, and Shelley Winters. The film's budget was around $4 million, which was considered substantial for a drama at the time. The film's cost was partly attributed to its beautiful location shoots and complex production. The film was praised for its intense performances, particularly from Clift and Taylor, and it was a commercial success, solidifying its place as one of the great films of the 1950s. Number 7. The Robe, 1953. The Robe, directed by Henry Koster, was the first film to be released in CinemaScope, a new widescreen process. The film starred Richard Burton and Gene Simmons and was an epic biblical drama set in ancient Rome. Its budget was around $5 million, a hefty sum for its time. The film's extravagant sets, costumes, and epic battle sequences helped it achieve a large box office success and made it one of the most influential films of its era. The Robe's success also helped cement the popularity of religious epics in Hollywood during the 1950s and 1960s. Number 6. The Hunchback of Notre Dame, 1939. This 1939 version of The Hunchback of Notre Dame, directed by William Dieterle and starring Charles Laughton, had a budget of around $2 million. While that might seem modest compared to other films on this list, it was an extravagant amount for a film during the late 1930s. The film's budget went towards constructing the massive Notre Dame set, along with elaborate costumes and makeup for Laughton's transformation into Quasimodo. The film was a success both at the box office and critically, and it remains one of the most beloved adaptations of Victor Hugo's novel. Number 5. Mutiny on the Bounty, 1935. Directed by Frank Lloyd and starring Clark Gable, Charles Laughton, and Franchot Tone, Mutiny on the Bounty was an ambitious adaptation of the true story of the mutiny aboard HMS Bounty. The film's budget was around $2 million, a considerable sum during the mid-1930s. The production involved elaborate ship replicas, extensive location shooting, and a large cast, making it one of the most expensive films of its time. The film won the Academy Award for Best Picture and is remembered as a classic adventure tale of rebellion and survival. Number 4. Spartacus, 1960. Although slightly outside the typical Golden Age timeline, Spartacus is often included in discussions of this era due to its scale and historical significance. Directed by Stanley Kubrick and starring Kirk Douglas, Laurence Olivier, and Gene Simmons, this Roman epic cost around $12 million to produce. The film featured breathtaking battle sequences, elaborate costumes, and sprawling sets. Its revolutionary themes and Kubrick's directorial prowess made it a landmark in cinematic history. Spartacus was a critical and commercial success, and its famous line, "I am Spartacus," remains iconic. Number 3. Quo Vadis, 1951. This epic historical drama, directed by Mervyn LeRoy, tells the story of a Roman officer and his forbidden love for a Christian woman during Emperor Nero's reign. With a budget of around $7 million, Quo Vadis was one of the costliest films of its time. The film's expenses were largely due to its intricate set designs, including massive recreations of ancient Rome and a cast of thousands for its large-scale crowd scenes. It became a massive box office success and set the stage for other Roman-themed epics of the 1950s. Number 2. Dr. Zhivago, 1965. Directed by David Lean, Dr. Zhivago tells the story of a poet and physician during the Russian Revolution. With a budget of around $11 million, it was one of the most expensive films of its time. The production included extensive location shooting in Spain and elaborate recreations of early 20th century Russia. The film starred Omar Sharif and Julie Christie, and its lush cinematography and Maurice Jarre's memorable score helped it become a critical and commercial success. While it premiered toward the end of the Golden Age, its production style echoes the grandeur of earlier films. Number 1. Intolerance, 1916. Another groundbreaking film by D.W. Griffith, Intolerance is widely regarded as one of the most ambitious films of the silent era. With a budget of $2 million, it was a colossal production for its time. The film tells 4 separate stories across different historical periods, requiring massive sets and thousands of extras. Its most famous set piece, the Babylonian sequence, featured a gigantic reconstruction of ancient Babylon, complete with monumental architecture. Although it was a box office failure upon its release, Intolerance has since been recognized as a masterpiece and an early example of large-scale filmmaking. And there you have it, the 20 most expensive films of Hollywood's golden age. Each one is a testament to ambition, creativity, and sometimes excess. But which of these legendary films do you think truly deserved its massive budget? Or was there one that surprised you the most? If you enjoyed exploring the glories and extravagance of old Hollywood, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. There's so much more to uncover about the golden days of cinema, and you won't want to miss what's coming next.